Hey everyone, and welcome back to my completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS. In the last episode, we obtained some of these demon hearts needed to power up the Planar Sphere's engine. But on our way to the engine room, we are going to have to face some opposition. And first we need to heal up. And I think I'm going to use some of these small potions where we can still get some use out of them.
I'm still here.
What is it now?
And now our situation. We're going to have to renew some buffs. Senashira has most of her buffs active, it seems. So still has Chaotic Commands, Death Ward, Spirit Armor, all that. So that's very nice. But we're still going to have to buff up. Because there's going to be a high-level mage encounter awaiting us. Another mage of level 21 and his assistant. Not this. Not this. Stop misclicking. I am going to buff up most of my characters with Chaotic Commands here. I'm not going to buff Jaheira with that because she has the Shield of Harmony, and we're not going to buff up Edwin because he can take care of himself. Now we have one Remove Fear left, and I think I'm not going to pre-buff with it because there are sure to be some remove magics flying around. And we really need to make this Remove Fear count, depending on what happens. Edwin can summon that Nishru, I guess. That's going to be as good of a time as any for that. And what we're going to do... I would like to have haste in this upcoming encounter, but we really need to save that haste for an encounter later on. And so this is not an option. I think what I'm going to do in that case, I think we're going to use some of our Oils of Speed. Yeah, let's get these, and I think I'm just going to have one on Kiranai and one on Senashira. Here's our Nishru, buddy. Alright, let's just buff up with some light stuff, and I think we're going to be ready. We're going to stealth Valigar, and he's going to approach first. Let's see if he can just stealth in there without getting detected. In most cases, mages in SCS, when you're stealthing around them or have some invisible guys, they will usually cast something to reveal you. They will say something like, something's not right, let's see what a little divination can show me, stuff like that, and they will cast True Sight. But I guess she doesn't have anything like that, this mage assistant, and he isn't hostile yet. But I'm not going to like cheese it out and bring more people over.
What is it?
I just wanted Valigar to be in position. Because she has Stone Skin, we're not going to be able to backstab her, and she's going to have some other pre-buffs. But what I want to have Valigar for in the closest distance to her is, you know, through this katana of his, he's going to be able to poison her and make her spellcasting life more difficult with that. So let's have him ready over there, and he doesn't have haste. Let's just move this Nishru a little bit from the entrance so that it's not blocking it. Alright, now let's approach. So here's our buddy Tolgerias again. Apparently, some of the Cowled Wizards were able to follow us, and you know, through all of the doors and all of the doors we opened and the different paths that we've cleared, and they were able to enter the sphere. And now they're going to be problematic. So anyway, let's check their pre-buffs. Let's not approach too close to them yet. And let's kind of spread out upon entrance. Alright, so let's see what Tolgerias' pre-buffs are. And I think her pre-buffs triggered before. So she has improved invisibility, minor globe, mirror images, and she has Stone Skin on as well. But nothing too major. I think she is only level 10, so she's not that big of a deal. However, Tolgerias, let's see, he has Globe, he has Spell Turning. Oh, he has Protection from Fire, so unfortunately our Firestorm plan is not going to work. However, I think our insect plague plan might still work. We only need to dispel his spell shield for that and his spell turning, because he doesn't have a fire shield on. So these insects are sure to work on him once we get rid of these two. So we're going to have to use Secret Ward on him twice, and we're going to keep detecting illusions with Kirinai. We can use this Nishru and Valigar, and actually all of our other like physical damage members to kind of focus on her. Alright, that we were out of range of that horrid wilting. Okay. He also has immunity to abjuration, but it doesn't really matter all that much. We wouldn't be able to affect him with our remove magic anyway, because he's level 21 and our mages are level 12, so the likelihood of that working, you know, wasn't too great to begin with. Alright, he cast Breach on Kirinai, which is okay. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay, their illusions were dispelled already, so since he has Globe of Invulnerability, I think I might have explained that difference there, but basically if they have Globe instead of Minor Globe, we are not going to be able to affect them with Spell Thrust, because Spell Thrust dispels Minor Globe, but is blocked by Globe of Invulnerability. So then the lowest level spell that we have to use to dispel their protections in such a case is Secret Word. And I think we're going to use Edwin to cast Secret Word on Tolgerias now to consume his spell shield, and then Senashira is going to use a scroll of Secret Word to dispel his spell turning, and then the way is going to be clear for Jaheira to cast some insects. Just kind of spread out a little bit and unleash that spell. Well, let's wait a second. Alright, so that mage is already poisoned, or, you know, bleeding from Valigar's katana. That's nice. Oh yeah, you can start attacking as well. Because your detect illusion is not needed anymore. Alright, we're getting through to that mage. This is good. Tolgerias is casting a illusion spell, so he might want to go invisible. Yeah, he did go invisible, but we did manage to get through to him with both Secret Words, I believe. Yeah, Spell Shield was dispelled, and then Spell Turning was dispelled, because that's the highest level protection he had. So let's just quickly try to detect him. Oh, by the way, does he have any... Yeah, he has Improved Mantle active, okay. Alright, he is detected again already. Thank you, Kirinai. Thank you, Detect Illusion. We can just kind of spread out a little bit, and now what we have to do is have Jaheira. Let's actually try to distract him with some of these other characters, so he doesn't interrupt Jaheira's cast. But yeah, now is the time for some insects. Okay, he's throwing his minute meteors at Senashira, doesn't matter. Alright, here come the insectos. Okay, and he's affected by that, and we're basically done with the encounter now. He's going to have that 100% spell failure. He can still unleash some sequencers at us. Yeah, spell trigger with domination on Kirinai. Yeah, he breached her first to dispel her chaotic commands, and now he unleashed a triple domination contingency. Not contingency, the spell trigger. Alright, that's not too big of a deal though. We can use Animen's Dispel magic to get rid of that before she can do any real harm. And with other characters we will switch to our normal weapons and hopefully remember to switch them back, because he activated some protection from magical weapons now. So just use this katana, and what else do you have here, Valigar? We could pass over a normal dagger to you, but alright, doesn't matter. Just keep attacking. Okay, that did not work, because of course his casts you know, are still high level. They are still level 21, because how dispel and remove magic works is that it's going to dispel everything of any given source if that relation between you know, the, well, basically if it works, you know, if there is a constant relation, just to remind you how this works. Of course, you can pause and read, but basically there's a constant relation between the caster of Dispel Magic and the source of different effects. And basically it's going to work like per source. So for example, if Kira and I had some buffs from Edwin active, let's just say, and the debuffs from Tolgerias active, the Dispel Magic, when it hits, is going to work separately on each source. So it's either going to like dispel everything from Tolgerias or nothing from him, and then it's going to check, you know, whether it's going to dispel anything or like everything from Edwin or nothing from Edwin, and so on. So it's basically considered like per source. What we can do is try Jaheira's Dispel Magic, but it's has an even lower chance of working. And Anomen, now that you're not casting, you can... Right, there are some chromatic orbs, doesn't matter. Another... Okay, this is not going to work. Since I want to keep Edwin's protection from magical weapons still active on him, I'm just going to renew mirror images. I go into melee range on Kiranai, so that she has a slightly harder time trying to hit him with these daggers, and we just have to kind of wait it out. You know, she's using the magical returning boomerang dagger +2, but like I said, I want to keep this protection from magical weapons to a or for a later encounter. So I'm just going to tank these with Edwin, just renewing his mirror images. He's not going to need many more of them, and we just will have to wait it out, basically. Wait out these dominations. Or we could attempt to charm Kiranai.
Yes, it will be done.
Okay, it's over. She saved versus breath, but we just outlasted those dominations, and yeah. So that's the encounter with some Cowled Wizards. Tolgerias, and he has the Ring of the Ram, which is a very nice ring because it can provide us once a day with some damage, and this is again something that's considered a level 0 spell. So it actually goes through a lot of different protections, and we actually didn't have a great opportunity to showcase the Victor, the Ring of Energy, being like that as well.
Yes.
In this encounter we didn't really need to interrupt anyone like that. Also, I kind of wanted to use Edwin's Sunfire here, because there's going to be 2 rooms, one kind of a cold room and one fire room, and that Sunfire could have dealt some nice damage to different creatures, but now that he's out of protections, we're just going to go in and defeat them normally with our physical damage. This cold room is not that big of a deal, but in SCS the fire room can present some difficulties. Oh yeah, and let's switch our weapons. The fire room is much more difficult because there's a certain noble Ifrit there, and he has some serious spells at his disposal.
Speak.
Right, let them come. And let's just destroy them. We might give them... What can we give them? We don't have slows anymore. Let's just give them a little glitter dust.
What is it?
This troll was blinded and just wandering aimlessly here, not being able to see anything. Right, we can already go and detect some traps over there. And get some nice loot before all of our buffs expire. Actually, you guys can position around here.
Tell me all about it. Speak. I'm waiting. Nothing to it. Yes, it will be done.
There's a really nice helmet here. Something that we also had in Baldur's Gate 1.
What is certainly?
Is there one more trap here? And there's a door, one of the two paths leading to the engine room, but we're going to take the other one once we clear the fire room. And here I am going to pre-buff a little bit with some potions of fire resistance, just in case. Let's just regroup.
Yeah, fine. Just stop pestering me.
We're going to have most of our characters in the back, kind of spread out, but still I'm, just to be sure, just for safety, I am going to give them, I think Anomen, Jaheira and Senashira are going to chug a little potion of fire resistance.
Yes,
All right.
it will be done.
Okay, these arrows of ice we can give to Kirinai, and we have this gift of peace, the nice resistance and saving throw helmet, and I think we're going to give that to Jaheira for this encounter, so she might be a little bit closer.
So much certainly.
And here we're going to open the door, and Edwin is just going to throw in a little web in there to slow the advance of the different creatures here. It's not going to do too much, but we might as well use that, since we have that at our disposal. Alright, and now he's going to go away. Yeah, he's going to hold some stuff, but the noble Ifrit, we're mostly interested here. We're going to have to take care of him first, and he has Firestorm. Let's get that Firestorm away. Alright, and now we need to destroy him. And since he has fire shields, I'm just going to use range damage on him. Although Jaheira should have some pretty nice 70 fire. We might even send her in melee, I think, to... Well, since he's standing in that firestorm, let's just use ranged weapons on him.
Without hesitation.
And we're going to get rid of that elemental in the meantime. Alright, some fireballs. Unfortunately, Valigar was not protected and he got damaged by that. We kind of need to get him out of there.
What is it?
Alright, wow, that was so cool. Because this noble Ifrit didn't manage to cast a whole lot. And the most important thing is that they can also, once they are very low on health, they can assume or turn into that gaseous form. And they can do that up to 3 times. And this is so annoying because once they're in that gaseous form, they will regen their health and just kind of waste your time for a while. And then kind of, you know, reappear or assume their normal form again, the Ifrit form. And yeah, they can do it up to 3 times, and it's just such an annoyance. Oh, that web is still active. But fortunately, we managed to, I guess, burst him down well enough so that he didn't have a chance to do that.
What is it?
And we can just wait out this web. It should be ending soon. But yeah, that was... that's what always happens, you know, when it comes to the playthrough. Whenever I kind of try to prepare for some difficult encounter, it turns out to be really easy. And then some insignificant encounters that I kind of am lazy about, then are troublesome. Can you
What is it?
do... Yeah, sometimes they can like get stuck in walls and doors and whatnot. Anyway, now we are done with these encounters, and there is only one room remaining with some foes, and that's going to be that engine room.
Whatever you desire. Yes.
Another device, this time a fire-based thing. We have some nice scrolls here. Some arrows of fire, that don't really matter. Here, there's a nice staff here, a staff of fire. It actually can destroy fire elementals if they do not succeed with their save versus spell. It can also summon a lesser fire elemental, which can be a decent distraction, and it has fire shield on it. And basically there's 20 charges of both of these spells, and on top of all that it's just a +2 quarterstaff. That's a really nice item that we're definitely going to get some use out of. We can switch the helmet on Jaheira. And this is a really insignificant shield at this point in the game. It's nothing special. It has a bonus, I think, against missile attacks,
Speak quickly and precisely.
which at this point doesn't really matter. Alright, and now the final fight
Speak your
with
mind.
a couple of groups of enemies. Let's just heal up a little bit before we go in.
Nature's servant away.
Everything in on this map went surprisingly well,
Without hesitation.
without any problems at all. Anyway, so here's the engine room, and there's going to be a couple of groups of golems that can spawn here. And what we're going to do here is we're going to haste our guys, because of course golems like to slow us.
I await your need.
And Jaheira is going to prepare some defensive harmony, I think. And
Speak.
we are going to do some tanking with Edwin and Senashira, using the protection from magical weapons spells, so that we don't get absolutely destroyed by these groups of golems. Okay, it really depends how you kind of approach. There's one that can spawn over here, and one on the right. Okay, there's that clay golem, but there are also groups of golems, and I misclicked on that engine device. We don't want to activate it just yet. Alright, so here comes the clay golem. Where are the other golems, man? Show up! This is really unfortunate, man. It's possible to have all of these groups of golems approach you all at once. Oh yeah, we need blunt weapons against clay golems.
Yes.
And you can have a pretty epic fight with like 7 golems at once. Okay, so these guys spawned. There's going to be these groups of 2 stone golems and 1 juggernaut golem. Alright, so Senashira, I guess, since it developed this way, I think she's just going to take care of these guys on her own. And okay, here come the other guys. So Jaheira might improve our armor class, and Edwin is just going to serve as a little blockade with his protection from magical weapons. Okay, and now we go in, and Valigar and Kiranai with their sharp weapons can still damage the stone golems, but Valigar I think I'm just going to keep in the back. Senashira is just going to solo the group on the left, and our other guys are going to kind of try to deal with the other ones. The Juggernaut Golem really needs blunt weapons. It can be damaged by other types of weapons as well, but it has 90% resistance to other types of damage. As you can see, yeah, Kiranai was able to do some damage, but very little, very minor amounts onto him.
Yes.
Right, so pretty cool. No problems at all. Yeah, I wanted to have haste on everyone so that we don't get slowed by their abilities, and then I wanted to have these protection from magical weapons just to avoid getting destroyed by their damage. Especially in these like narrow spaces where we can have some traffic jams. It's nice to be able to just have these spells and kind of block them, use these narrow spaces against them actually. And here we have some goodies. We have some gems, we had some decent cash. We have this ring. This is the ring of danger sense. It improves your detect traps by 25%. So I mentioned that ring when we had Nalia. You know, it would be really useful on her to improve her find traps and max it out. But you know, it's here at the end of Planar Sphere, so it's not that easy to get to. Especially with SCS, you know, when you have like proper level 21 mages with like level 9 spells at their disposal and whatnot. We actually didn't manage to didn't let like Tolgerias to do too much. But I think he's usually a conjurer that can summon some demons. That's why I also said something about remove fear, that I wanted to hold on to it, because he can summon pit fiends, because he has that level 9 spell gate pretty often. And that's kind of his thing, you know, he can summon some nasty enemies and everything can get out of control, but fortunately we didn't allow him to cast too much. and just disabled him with those nice insects once we got rid of his spell protections. Anyway, now that everything is done, we can activate this peculiar engine. Yeah, we can feed the demon heart to that engine, I guess, and now it's going to start up. Alrighty, and now the last thing to do is to go back to Lavok. And because the Planar Sphere was able to start and travel between the planes again.
You know, I could really use some rest.
So we're going to be back home, because Lavok
Quickly and precisely.
is true to his word. He did preset the controls to get us back to Athkatla, and all we need to do is just visit him and conclude the quest in this adventure.
This will not take long.
This is one of my favorites. I really love the Planar Sphere, and well, let's just let it play out.
Must be done.
We'll return to our own plane. Please, please, stranger, as per our bargain, let me see my son one last time. I am most grateful. If you could but carry me. My strength has all but fled. My last moments are upon me. It is the sky after all. I had forgotten how it looked after so long. I thank you, and I wish to repay you for your kindness.
I sense within you a power and ability similar to my own, yes? You are a wizard. Yes, I am correct. Take the Planar Sphere, wizard. I grant it to you, in payment for my release. Use it. Use it far more wisely than I ever did. So, he has this offer, because we are a mage, of course, and because I have that component from BG2 Tweaks installed that I can have more than one stronghold, we can get the Planar Sphere, and that is the mage stronghold, and it's my favorite stronghold, and I really wanted to showcase it. Normally, in the unmodded game, if you didn't have that component installed, once we have accepted, you know, if you are a multi-class or a dual class, you are going to get offered the different types of strongholds. But once you have accepted one of them, you wouldn't be offered any others, because normally in the unmodded game you can only have one stronghold. But thanks to that component, we can have both the fighter stronghold, the Diarnese Keep, and now the mage stronghold, the Planar Sphere. We also get a lot of experience, and we're going to get a really nice ring from him. And yeah, unfortunately that is it for Lavok. And it's pretty fortunate also that it's daytime, because he wanted to see the sun, right? And it's sometimes pretty unfortunate when it's nighttime, and you know, he says that you know, he's able to see the sky, so it doesn't matter what time of day it is, but you know, at least he could see the sun as well.
He is dead. Lavok, the necromancer, is finally dead. I can scarce believe it. My family's vow has been fulfilled, and I am now safe. And yet I feel little satisfaction. I had no idea it would be like this. Could he actually have been redeemed?
After all that time, did he actually fight that demon to prevent it from escaping the sphere?
If you had asked me such a question even a day ago, I would have answered that such redemption was impossible. Now I am not so sure. I think perhaps that I do not know all that I think I do. I have not seen as much of the world as I thought I did. A disturbing realization. I would continue to travel with you if you would allow me. If there is so much I am not aware of, I must discover it. Will you have me?
I really like that monologue from Valigar, where he has that realization, and unfortunately that's the pinnacle of his character when it comes to his like banters and interjections. It's a shame that they didn't kind of expand on the character in that kind of vein, but yeah, we're going to have Valigar for now, and that is the end. But end of the quest line, I guess, but not the end of our dealings with the Planar Sphere. We can just get these demon hearts. Unfortunately, there's nothing to do with the other demon hearts. There are some mods that introduce some different purposes for these demon hearts, so usually to use them in the process of crafting some items. This is also Bala's axe, another item that we know from Durlag's Tower from Baldur's Gate 1. And yeah, we cannot identify anything else. I am going to use my glasses on this one. This another ring of wizardry. This one is ring of acuity, and this gives us 2 extra level 2 slots, 1 extra level 3, and 1 extra level 4. So this is exactly what Senashira needs, and I am going to use both of these rings. Also this, you know, level 5, level 6, level 7 on her right now, because Edwin has plenty of memorization slots of his own. But once we get Imoen back, she is going to wear this one, the Reaching Ring, with these higher level spells. It's going to be a little bit of a shame to lose 1 level 5 slot on Senashira, because I really love my spell immunities, as you might have noticed, and spell shields and all of those cool level 5 spells. But yeah, Senashira is really going to benefit from some extra mirror images here, and maybe extra stone skin or spirit armor or something like that. So I am going to use both of them on Senashira. That means that regenning health is going to be a little bit more problematic on her without that ring slot available. Because of course once you de-equip a ring like that, you're going to lose your memorization slots. Even if you re-equip it later, these spells are going to be gone for the current, like before you rest. Anyway, so this has been the Planar Sphere adventure. But this is not the end of our dealings with the Planar Sphere, because we of course just obtained it as our mage stronghold. And in the next episode we're going to venture back in and see what we can find inside, and what kind of quests we can get, and what kind of mage things we can do in there. So I thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.